real bread and butter sort of strings you always want to be
Well, his
using.
4-2 is a very fast advancing high, and the ender's safe, so he'll go all the way, and then he'll end up close, or knock you away if it hits. His back 1 ends in an overhead and takes up a lot of space and is pretty quick. He has this 4-1, which is a low. He does not have a way to like start a combo other than a bounce, but it's it's pretty good damage and it knocks you away. And you'll notice the knocking away thing is a very common ender for his attacks.
He keeps you honest.
Right.
He can't just keep standing, walking around. He can kind of keep throwing that out and make you like have to deal with the crouch.
His jump attacks have a ton of range. His jump 2 is basically he's like fully protected himself.
Yeah, it's awesome cross up.
Yeah.
I like that one too.
So archetype-wise, what would you say?
I would say he's kind of a footsie character, like a mid-range space control character. He's not the fastest. He doesn't have the best like recovery and stuff, but he outranges you for sure. No one's really going to outrange him with their normal attacks.
Whiff punish you pretty well.
Yeah,
too,
yeah. Whip punishes you very well. You can kind of walk back. If you miss anything, you're in a lot of trouble.
Right.
And then this is all complemented by special moves. Let's just go into them.
Sure.
We'll start with his Dox Drill, which is a great like combo ender. Get some damage with it. You can use his down 1. His down 1's notable for a ton of range, and it's actually a low. Not many down 1s are low.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
I should have known that, right?
The meter burn one is actually safe, and you can see on block, they're pushed way back. He wasn't blocking. So he's totally safe. So maybe one of your moves, like I said, his moves don't have the best recovery. You could do something and just do the meter burn Dox Drill, and you're
You
not
get
getting
like the
pumped.
classic 2-in-1 little chip bit at the end there. And
Right,
safe,
yeah.
Safe chip.
And if you do it, and you don't meter burn it, you're going to build a little bit of meter on block. It's always good. You could use a standing career like that. Then he has
Oh yeah.
Gee.
Ultimate anti-air.
another great anti-air.
You know he's gonna have a move like that with those tentacles.
Oh,
He's gonna
yeah,
have
it looks
something
so cool.
And he can meter burn it for additional damage and take up even more space.
That's so awesome.
Yeah,
So-
you can't jump at him. Like if you even have an inkling that your opponent's gonna jump, but you're gonna get hosed.
Right, and that totally complements what we do with this playstyle. So he controls the ground, and you're like, okay, and what do you do when you're getting out neutral? You start jumping.
Right.
But doing that against him is incredibly deadly. So he's going to keep you on the ground where then he excels.
Where are his weaknesses? Where do you find really good ends with Brainiac?
Well, I would say his walk speed, walking in, is not the fastest. His recovery is not the fastest. He's good at whiff punishing, but if he whiffs an attack, he's in a lot of trouble. He has to kind of use his meter to stay safe. Like otherwise, he's going to be punishable. So he's kind of a sort of a high risk character, but he really regulates you wanting to play. You got to be very patient, very methodical, and if you can't match his pace, if you're trying to rush in and he's keeping you away, you're in a lot of trouble.
He can catch you slipping a lot with that
Yeah.
range, and he's able to capitalize it because a lot of his moves begin from that far away. So it's not like he can't get big punishes off of that.
Brain caught you slipping.
He also has the shoulder barge.
Nobody?
Yep.
Very, very fast. Reaches almost across the whole screen. And the meter burn one is, again, it's safe. So for a bar meter, he can actually be very safe. And you'll see, again, he'll actually push you back. So it's an interesting thing where normally being pushed back is not good for you offensively, but his range is so strong,
Yeah.
it actually helps him.
A lot of opponents will die because they're basically they have to keep coming at him. You know what I
Right.
mean? And he can keep just whittling you down, hitting you back. Every time you get in, if you don't win the exchange, he's going to knock you full screen again, and you just got to like work your way back to him.
So, like, this is what I'd call a why not move, which is nothing bad is going to happen
Just
if you
do
this
it.
move. If it
Just
hits,
do it.
they're full screen, and he goes back to his zoning game. And if it's blocked, they're pushed back and he's safe. So why not?
Yeah, especially if you kind of like some people have a panic button or they're like get off me move, and you're like I'm stuck, I don't know what to do. If you can do that, like you'll at least reset the situation. and
Right.
Go again.
Now for him though, like you start pushing him closer and closer to the corner, you're starting to nullify more of his range too.
Exactly.
So
Right.
But then you get to the point where Brainiac pushes you into the corner, and if he can slowly get to that corner, he can just stand there again because you're going to want to jump out of the corner,
Right.
and he can just sit away one you and like wait for that move. Yeah, it's very risky.
let's talk about some more of his specials.
Well, then I think one of his big specials, we talked about mobility, he actually has a dive kick, which is very unusual for a ground-based character, so he can kind of go in the air and you can meter burn it and get a combo.
It's very unique too, based on where you do it and the angle. The trajectory kind of adjusts based on how high or how low you are.
And you'll notice it can also autocorrect, so he can jump over you, he can dive kick over you,
Can he?
Oh,
He
there you
can,
go.
and then you'll
And then
actually always go to where the opponent
the
is.
meter burn, it goes the other way.
And to complement this, in addition to his jump, he has an air jump where he uses his tendrils, and he'll actually go in the air, and you can control the distance. Like this is the far version.
And you can drop down in and do
you
some
can drop
damage.
down, and you can do his normal attacks from here, and you can actually do the dive kick. So you can do fun stuff, like you can actually go over them and then dive kick around.
Yep. One of the things too is crisscrossing over them. You kind of mix them up, and then you can also kind of immediately dive kick when you land, like hit low, and then immediately go into the
You can
dive
do the
kick.
dive kick
Quick
very-
overhead,
yeah, very, very
It's
low.
very punishable, but it's one of those kind of like once you put the fear in your opponent, you can you kind of risk it and you can get blown up for it. So.
Yeah, and you will have to on block commit to the meter burn part,
Yeah.
so you are unsafe, but it's very, very tricky. So he's really a character that will do great on the ground. He'll do great if you try to jump. And then if you can't jump, that frees up him to start jumping, and that's when he starts going crazy, all over the screen, high mobility, and that's when he gets his mix-ups going. Because it's kind of, you can think of it like on the ground, it's very methodical, very slow-paced, very keeping you out. But in the air, he goes nuts. That's his offense. His ground offense is not really that strong. Like, he doesn't have a lot of lows and overheads. He mostly just throws you or just stays safe with this. But in the air, that's when he can mix you up. All the cross-up. You mentioned his jump 2's a good cross-up.
Did you do his the dashes? Show the dashes.
Dashes?
The dash forwards and backwards.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see he covers a ton of distance with his forward. His back dash is not the greatest, but his forward dash is great.
Let's talk about his character power.
Well, his character power is super interesting.
Yeah, he calls these little beta bombs. Drones right there. He can do a ground one and an air one. The biggest thing too is you can hold it down, so when he can summon it but not use it. So Steve has the button held right now. So while you're playing, you can do all kinds of other combos, still holding it. Choose when to let go, so you can do a lot of tricky stuff, cross up situations, and
you can hold
really
it
mess
for
with your opponent. You
a
can hold it
long
for a
time.
long time.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes you play and your opponent will forget you held it,
Yeah.
and then the last minute it'll come out, or you could tricky shoot it, cross them up with the swing and then the dive kick, let it go. You could throw them before the drone will hit them. Or
And
go
you
into
can
the
you can
overheads.
hold both the bomb and the straight one. You can also use it rapidly. You don't have to use it for setups. It also can just act as a very fast projectile. You can do 4 of them rapidly.
So you can hold one for however long, get your mix up, and immediately throw another one after
another
the
one,
one.
right.
But it does have a timer there at the
Yeah,
bottom.
you can
like
see
a
at the bottom it
gauge.
has a timer. You can get about 4, or you can space them out. Like you can do 1, 2, a little bit more.
Yeah.
1, 2.
It can be a simple projectile where there's
Right.
a lot of ways to open your opponent up.
And this can make some of his moves that are already pretty decent even better. Like you see, he has this combo starter, and he can't really get a back 3 or anything really juicy. So he'll just kind of do a simple combo, nothing fancy. But if he has this out,
You're not going to pull this off.
Yeah, I saw him just doing it.
Oh!
There you go, in there. Nice.
right. So if
Gotcha,
you have it
yeah.
ready, you can see it hits, release it, then get your back 3. And there's many different setups with this.
One thing that Steve and I both had in common is because you do have to hold it, so both of us are like older players, so we both immediately kind of were like, when I play Klaus, we're like, I also play Klaus, so as soon as we play him, I immediately go to
Yeah.
like Klaus style, because you got to hold the button down
Yep,
to
yep.
play.
I
So
think
we were
it-
both like, we both were right on the same page of like, yeah,
Claw
Klaus
style. Exactly.
Immediately, so-
1995.
Yeah. It's like a natural
Looking
thing.
back.
As soon as you're like, I got to hold this button, all right, that's just how I play it. So.
Yep.
Awesome. So we also do have. Is there anything good? There's more.
Super.
The super move.
Super.
They're super. Yeah.
You did the throws, didn't you?
Super's boss.
Yeah, I like how it came out.
I love this shot.
One of my favorite cinematic shots is the ship kind of coming through the clouds.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so ominous and
I
dark.
remember that in the
I
meetings. was
love
like,
the
we
music
really
from
wanted to
Q.
sell that. It was awesome.
It
did a great job on
It
it.
sells well.
So I think ultimately he's kind of interesting because he can be a super fast,
He's very
very
explosive.
right,
He's
yeah,
explosive.
very
He
explosive
seems not so
play,
fast.
a lot of setups, or you can just kind of hold back and outrange everyone.
Right. Cool. Let's talk about some. We did some gear loadouts.
We did.
So I'm very excited. You got your sheets.
I do. I got it.
Okay. Steve writes sheets, which I guess are down there.
Preparation.
But I don't need them this time.
We prep.
Well, Brainiac would do that. He was want as much information as possible collected,
Then
just
destroy
in
you.
case.
Destroy
Right.
you after.
So we'll start off. Well, you can see right here. You like the big shoulder pads, the gold coloring. You picked this out.
I did.
I like it. And I really like the tendril color. That's really cool.
Gold dust to it.
Yeah.
A little bit.
When they character customization.
Yep.
So let's start off. He has a harpoon. He'll pull them in.
Crush.
I like that. It's a good combo ender. It's a good full screen check. And the meter burn one, he actually gets a combo. He'll pull them in and not do the beatdown, and then he gets a combo. So earlier I was saying if one of his main weaknesses is on the ground, he's not really like a combo machine other than using his character power. He is with this loadout. So if his air mobility is not particularly strong in a particular matchup and you're having a lot of trouble opening him up because his die pick's not working, this could be a great tool to use. And then, now he is a combo specialist.
And let's do a quick little jab like you did after
Yeah, you can
grabbed
just
in.
do it down 3.
There you go, full combo.
And you got to deal with the wake up.
And then we also gave him his tendril shell. And this is actually like a parry or a absorption move. He can hold this down, and then if the opponent attacks, he get electrocuted, and he gets a combo.
Oh, that's cool. Can I give props to you real quick? Because I know you love props.
I love props.
You are able to go through training mode menu screens quicker than anyone I've ever seen.
Well, I have it memorized.
Memorized. You don't actually read it.
Yes,
Just
if-
down
right.
twice, left over once.
If
But
it ever
then he
changes-
records quickly, and then that's amazing.
You're like waiting for the game to catch up to you.
Whenever it changes, I absolutely freak out.
Yeah,
It triggers me so
it
much.
does happen throughout the
Yeah,
development
throughout
of a game.
development, they streamline it. and I always
Relearn
get
what you
triggered.
learned.
So yeah, this would be good for a defensive. Let's say it's you're playing a particular matchup where the keep out is just not working. You're gonna have to play up close, and he's not the best at it. You gotta have this new defensive option. You can
Then
wake up attack,
it scares the opponent from attacking you, which
Exactly.
is in his benefit because then he can space you out again.
and then exactly. So he can actually go to his spacing because they're gonna be afraid.
Awesome.
So one more loadout.
One more loadout. Check your notes. Is it bad that I'm calling you out for checking your notes?
It's a little weird.
You got all your
What are you talking about?
The whole table.
It feels like you're exposing the business.
So
So
Kayfabe.
this is a really cool one. We gave him the ion cannon. He summons a cannon from the ground, very very fast, takes up the whole sky.
Looks like he's actually summoning from the sky, but
from his ship.
It's from a ship, the skull ship, and if you meter burn it, you can actually control it, and he gets combos off this.
And puts your opponent in air, which is your Brainiac.
Right. Trust me, he gets combos.
you can actually hit him too, right?
Trust me, it works.
Yeah, look at this.
Look at that.
Like, just beastly.
You can do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it just does a chunk of damage, and this really complements the screen control. I mean, it's harder to get better screen control than a beam shooting from the sky
That's
on
true.
wherever the opponent is.
I would say the game's not even out yet, and I think you're not even in the top 100 Brainiacs.
That's probably true.
There are people who are theory fighting at home who are better at Brainiac.
That's
OP.
probably accurate.
What can you possibly beat that?
So then, we gave him a loadout which replaces a shoulder barge with a slide. So this is an actual low-hitting move. It's super fast, goes full screen, and if you meter burn it, it's an immediate overhead. So it's low overhead, super quick, and this is safe on block, like the shoulder, the meter burn is. So it's a very good wake-up attack, very good full screen check. You can use it for kind of mix-ups if you want. It's pretty hard to block.
Real quick, when you say full screen check, for those who don't maybe know what that term means, kind of explain that real quick.
Well, essentially, a check would be a move where, let's say you're Superman, and you're
Okay.
kind of doing your lasers and all that. A check would mean this basically tells you, I'm going to do this, and you got to look for it. I'm checking it, man.
So
you got to check for it.
It'll make me slow down my lasers because
Right.
I'm then
You're then
scared.
looking for the slide,
Keeps you from playing.
so
the
you're
game.
keeping me out. And if I do this, now you know I'm willing to do that, and then I can start dashing up and throwing you, or I can go into my jump attacks and stuff like that. So it's basically an option that I can do at any time that you got to keep your eyes out for.
Gotcha. Cool.
So those are the Brainiac gear moves we're going to show. He does have some more, but we don't want to show everything.
Again, and you'll be able to see those very, very soon because the game comes out on Tuesday.
Yes.
And I'm guessing people will be playing Monday night, and we'll have some fun there.